Hey guys. So this week I'm talking about dissociation as one of the core wounds of narcissistic abuse. And this one is one of my favorites, honestly, because I have been dissociating for as long as I can remember. And the number one way I do that is by thinking too much, actually. I have, it's kind of probably tied with eating too much, but I can usually get a handle on that, especially if I'm focused on making sure that I feed my body in a way that it wants and needs versus what, versus eating to feel or not feel, depending on what the context is. But overthinking is still to this day one of my favorite ways to dissociate from life, from my work, from myself, especially when I'm going through hard times. But this is honestly something that I kind of flip in and out of all day. And I'm sharing this really so you guys can make a corollary to yourselves and seeing where you have a similar experience, not judging your experience, however you might be dissociating. Like I mentioned in yesterday's post, it's not a good or bad thing until it starts to hinder your progress toward whatever you're trying to do. If your life is not looking like, despite continuous, what you feel like is continuous effort, and your life isn't looking like what you want it to look like, this is a really big thing to look at to see if you're just dissociating from the experience. And when you go through narcissistic abuse as a child, as a kid, there's this innate intuition that all children have, that they know how they're supposed to be treated. And when you're abused as a kid, you dissociate because you know you're not supposed to be going through that, and the only way to get through it is not to experience it. But when you get older, and as an adult now, where you're able to take care of yourself, and most importantly, you're able to take care of your inner child, it's really important to make a conscious effort to make boundaries around your dissociation. So if you're someone like me who overthinks or daydreams with as a major way of dissociating, create boundaries around it. I have a portion in my meditation practice now, I've put that in recently, where I kind of just let myself visualize. Some people call it visualization. I just let myself imagine whatever it is that would normally take up time during my day when I'm supposed to be getting other things done. I use that space in my meditation practice to do that. It's helpful because at least I know that I've now devoted that space, devoted that time to doing it. So when I see myself or become aware of myself doing that over the course of the day, I can be like, okay, no, Rama, you did this already. You'll have another shot to do it before you go to bed. And usually if it's something that keeps happening over and over again, it'll stay stuck in my mind so that I can come back and revisit it when I am going to bed. That's another time I have made space for making sure that my imagination has a place to go. I have a very active imagination. It helps me in a lot of ways, but in some places it hinders me, especially when I'm supposed to be getting real work done, and I can't afford to spend an hour just daydreaming for fun. So it's really putting boundaries around your dissociation, especially if you enjoy it, because I do enjoy daydreaming and imagining stuff and overthinking. Actually, analyzing is probably one of my favorite pastimes. So it's okay to do it. If you enjoy it, that's fine. It's just not something you should be doing all the time. Same things with food. I love eating. And I love eating good food, but I can't be eating all day long. Body wasn't meant to be eaten that way. And that, again, hinders my progress from doing other things that are more important, that are necessary for me to show up for. So I make my meals very ritualistic now so that I can really enjoy all the food and I'm not just mindlessly eating. But staying in your body and experiencing all the things, experiencing life through your body rather than intellectually up in your head, or by checking out, which is another way a lot of I've seen a lot of people do, is really important to start to working through that wound that started as a child who needed to dissociate from an experience in order to survive, and constantly reminding yourself and your inner child that your body is a safe place to be in. One of the side effects of the core wound is that you create these stories around your physicality, your physical experience, your environment. And most importantly, like, our bodies are such an amazing tool and a gift. And I mentioned this yesterday because your body is an amazing gift. But we don't treat it that way. Almost nobody does. Like, it takes a lot of work to get to that way. We're not indoctrinated as kids to learn to see our bodies as a gift. No matter what your body does and can't do, or looks like, or can't move like, and it doesn't matter. The body you have is the body you were supposed to have. And you have to learn to work within its boundaries. I could complain till the cows come home about how I can't tolerate certain foods anymore. Or never really did, and I used to force them down. But this is the body that I've been given, and it's built this way for a reason. I don't have to know what that reason is. I just have to work within the boundaries that it's been giving me, and knowing that my body is safe, even with these quote unquote limitations. And really, they're not limitations, it's just boundaries. Your body has boundaries of what it can and cannot tolerate. And while we as humans, as the human who's residing in this body, will release our boundaries more often than not, our body has very strict ones, and will let you know when they've been crossed. So it's really important to, as far as dissociation is concerned, it's important to keep a designated space for your dissociative activities, so that you do, because they are helpful. You have in it, there's those, how you dissociate is a window into a skill of yours that you that can be really helpful. Like for me, like I mentioned, it's my imagination. I have a great one, and I really enjoy it, but it's about giving it some structure. And also, the flip side of that is making sure that I constantly remind myself that my body is a safe place for me to be in. It may not have been when I was a kid, but it is now, because I am in control of it. And I can also help my inner child understand that even though she was used to dissociating because she had to, she doesn't need to do that anymore. I've got her. So that's just kind of my 2 cents for today on dissociation. And I would love to hear from you guys, how you guys dissociate, how you've been working through it. We are all going through this together. And some days are better than worse. Some days are better than others. So it's totally fine if you're having an off week, an off month, an off 6 months, an off year. I don't care. But sharing your experience can also help you process it, and kind of release some judgment around it, because we're all going through this. All right. Drop your comments below, any questions you have, and otherwise, I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.